What is up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Minute with Ace, the one and only Ace, and J-Mac. Ace, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Working that 9 to 5.
Oh yeah,
It
definitely,
wears on you sometimes,
definitely.
Um, sorry, just sharing this video real quick, and we will get going. And just want to remind everyone that tonight's show is brought to you by Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. All products are lead and nickel free. All products are $5. Special offer for ASAP Sports viewers: free matching earrings when you buy a necklace. Order now at paparazzi.accessories.com. And that code is 160920. All right. So now that we got that stuff out of the way, I think we're going to start with some NBA tonight. Hope everyone's ready for that. So, NBA, man, what a game last night, huh? Nuggets winning, making the series 2-1.
You know what's funny is when I look at this series too, it might be 2-1 Lakers right now, but this series could easily be 2-1 Nuggets. If Davis does not hit that last second shot in game 2, that last second three, the Nuggets are up 2-1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
I
so,
think it's very easily could be 2-1.
Oh yeah. So when we look at this game yesterday, the one thing that sticks out to me in this game, did you notice in the fourth quarter when the Lakers went on that 20-4 run in the fourth quarter that like almost everybody was gassed, especially Anthony Davis. He was completely gassed. You could tell just by the shots that everybody was taking. Whew, it was rough how tired they actually were, because those were shots that I'm like, they normally don't take those shots.
Right. No, you could definitely tell there was something else at play. It wasn't a normal 20-4 run. And I don't think they had it in them to come back at the end, like you're saying. That really took everything out of them for the rest of the game.
Well, the one guy that I said would make a difference in this series, in that game he made a huge difference. Jamal Murray. When I mean he was making a difference, that dude was making a difference. He was dropping some deep threes. I mean, deep threes in that game.
Right.
Not only did Murray play well, but Jokic played well. And then you remember how we talked about before that if the Nuggets were going to win this game, they were going to have a third person step up.
Right.
Yeah, and they finally had a third person step up. Like Morris went out there and did his thing. So I was like, hey, look at this. They finally have a third person who stepped up, and the Nuggets were able to pull off a victory.
Yeah.
This Nuggets team has actually surprised me in a way. I didn't think that they were going to be as good as they were. When you look at this team, they've come back from both series that they were in. They've come back from 3-1 deficits. That's something normally you don't do one time, let alone two times in a playoffs.
Right. And we got to give our buddy Freddie a hard time for a minute. He was sitting there yesterday and saying, well, if the Lakers go up 3-1, the series over. Well, I'm sure that the Jazz and the Clippers thought the same thing.
Mm-hmm. They did, but there is one difference, though, that I will say. The only difference between this team is this Lakers team does have LeBron. It does have Anthony Davis. It does have Dwight Howard. So they do have better defenders on this team. Once you looked in the fourth quarter when the Lakers went on this 20-4 run, the Nuggets were up by 18. They should have put this game away. They could not put it away
Yep.
because, as you saw what the Lakers can do, the Lakers can lock down an offense. And that's what they did with the Nuggets when they went on this 20-4 run. Rondo was actually especially impressive because Rondo was getting steal after steal after steal after steal, and that was really impressive because he was not only taking the ball away from Jamal Murray, he was taking away from Jokic, he was taking away from Morris, he was taking away from Millsap. Like, Rondo was just a stealing machine in the fourth quarter. The one thing that did kill the Lakers in this game, LeBron wasn't the typical LeBron through the first like 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter is when he really stepped it up. Yes, he had a triple-double in this game, which I believe was like the 28th one in his career, which there's only one person ahead of him now. So I don't know what happened to him in the first 3 quarters, but that was not typical LeBron.
No, it wasn't. We don't know, but it definitely wasn't typically LeBron. Even though he ended up with a triple-double, it just wasn't him.
So the series is at 2-1 now, and I don't remember what you said. Did you say you had the Nuggets or you had the Lakers? I don't remember.
I said the Lakers in 6.
So do you foresee the Nuggets winning game 4, or do you see them losing game 4?
I think they lose game 4, win game 5, and lose in 6.
Ooh, that's rough. Because originally, I've been saying it. I said that the Lakers were going to sweep the Nuggets. I came out, I said it. The Nuggets impressed me in game 3. I think the Nuggets figured something out. I think they know that they can compete with the Lakers now and they can beat them. They're going to have to stick to the game plan that they did in game 3, without a doubt. But I do still have the Lakers. I just don't think the Nuggets can pull off another win. I don't think they can. I think the Nuggets will lose in 5. The one thing that I mentioned in this game, though, was Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis did have 27 points, but he was the one. I did say that pretty much everybody was gassed, but Anthony Davis was the one that in the fourth quarter you could truly see he was gassed. And I think it was because of maybe his size, but the dude was gassed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Say I lost you there for a minute.
yeah. So he was pretty gassed. So what was your final takeaway in this game?
I think that the Lakers played especially bad, and the Nuggets took advantage.
For sure. All right, so you want to talk about the Celtics and the Heat?
Yeah.
That game tonight was actually that was a really good game. I, for one, was shocked with how bad Jason Tatum played in the first half. In the first half, Jason Tatum had 0 points in the first half. He had 28 points for the game. So that means the dude goes off for 28 points in the second half. Starting, but he did not get his first 3 points until 3:30 left in the third quarter. So from 3:30 left in the third quarter until the end of the game, he had 28 points.
Right.
They tend to lead on Jason Tatum and rely on Jason Tatum. When Hayward came back, I thought that the Celtics were going to be too much. I did. I was looking at it going, I think that the Celtics are going to be able to just mow past the Heat with Hayward and Walker and Morris and Brown and Tatum. I thought it was going to be too much, but this Heat team has actually really impressed me with how well they have played. And when you look at why this Heat team has played so well, they're kind of an opportunistic team. They make their right reads, and when somebody's open, they get them the ball. And that's like a big thing you need in the NBA. If somebody's open, you got to get them the ball. And that's what the Heat do the best. Like, they don't miss those opportunities to get somebody the ball when they're open.
Yeah, that's for sure. Unselfish basketball. That's one way you're always going to make sure that you're at least in a game all the way till the end.
Yeah. And when you look at tonight, the 20-year-old the 20-year-old rookie and Tyler Hero. The first time in NBA history in the finals that for a 20-year-old goes off for 37 or more points. He had 37 points. That was his coming out party. The guy was on fire tonight. And that's why, to me, this Heat team is so impressive. Because there's not only like one guy that they're relying on game in and game out. Yes, Jimmy Butler is probably the key guy on that team. We've mentioned it before. We've talked about it. But the good thing about this Heat team, like I was saying, is they virtually have different guys that they can rely on. If Butler has a bad game, then Hero will step up. If Butler and Hero are having a bad game, then Dragic will step up. So they can kind of go back and forth. So
don't forget about Iguodala.
No, but the thing about Iguodala though is he comes off the bench, which
he still makes an impact.
No, he does, and I'm not saying he doesn't, but what I'm saying is that's what makes this Heat team so dangerous, is they're not only relying on one guy. You have those certain teams who have that one guy that they rely on, that you're like, okay, if we focus on this guy, we can win the game. With this Heat team, you can't. You can't with this Heat team, because they have so many guys that they can turn to that can make plays. And that's why if the Lakers were to get to the NBA championship, they do not want to face this Miami Heat team. They're not going to want to do that.
By the way, Randall Jorgensen,
yes,
just said Miami takes it all.
And I could see that. I could see it, because originally I said that the Lakers were going to win in 7 against the Heat. That's not happening. After the way I've been seeing this Heat team play, no way. I don't even know if the Celtics are going to win another game against the Heat. The Heat might end it in Game 5. It's probably over. Just saying. It's probably done.
Yep, I think so.
All right. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
All right, so we move on to MLB. So with MLB tonight, we're going to kind of touch on, playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs. So when you look at the American League, if the season were to end today, these are the matchups you would have. You would have the number 1 seed, which is the Tampa Bay Rays. They would go up against the number 8 seed of the Toronto Blue Jays. Then you would have the number 2 seed of the Chicago White Sox, and they would go up against the 7 seed of the Cleveland Indians. You'd have the 3 seed Oakland Athletics going up against the 4 seed of the Houston Astros. Then you would have the 3 seeded Athletics going up against the 6 seeded Astros. Then you'd have the 4 seeded Minnesota Twins going up against the 5 seeded New York Yankees. And that would be your playoff matchups for the AL sitting right now. So pretty much the top 3 teams is kind of what I was breaking down. And so when you look at this Rays team, and you actually look at their stats, there's not really anything that really sticks out to you and says, wow, this team should be this good. Because when you look at their numbers, their best hitter on the team is Brandon Lowe, and his average is 271.
Right.
As their best hitter. you can look it up and be like, yeah, there's one other guy. I can't think of his name right off the bat. He's batting a 301, but that doesn't count because the guy's played in like 20 games, so you can't count it as their best hitter because he hasn't played a lot of games. So their best hitter, who's played virtually every game, is Brandon Lowe. He's batting a 271. When you're batting a 271 as the best hitter on the team, that doesn't show you a lot, really. So it
No.
surprised me. It surprised me. And then I looked at their starting rotation, and we all know, if you're a baseball fan, you know who Blake Snell is.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that guy is because he's had some ridiculous years. This year, as Blake Snell, obviously he's their best pitcher, but his ERA is a 3.24. So that's not really an ERA that really sticks out to you and says, "Wow, this guy's super good." And then their second best pitcher behind him is Tyler Glasnow, and his ERA is a 4.21. So the difference between the difference between Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow really isn't a huge difference. So what is it about this Rays team that really sticks out? Well, to me, it's their bullpen. When you look at their bullpen is like really good. They're top 3 in all of Major League Baseball. I really think that's what makes this team win. So what is your opinion on the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, here's an interesting stat. They are 21-9 against teams with a winning record. Best in baseball. That's really what it comes down to. 21 of their 37 wins have been against a team with a winning record.
Yeah, and you can definitely put that on the bullpen. Tampa Bay is the team that came up with, if you remember last year when they started the whole trend of, hey, instead of using a starting pitcher to start the game, let's use our closer to start the game. Let's use a relief guy to start the game. And at first I couldn't figure out why they were doing it, and then I'm like, oh wait, I understand now. They're hoping to get a lead in the first inning. That's what they're really hoping for.
Yeah, they started that trend called the opener.
Yeah. And this year you're seeing it more.
Yep.
So how far do you think this Tampa Bay Rays team can actually make it?
Well, I think they take it all. I think ALCS will be the Rays and the A's.
So you're telling me, and I'm not taking anything away from this Rays team at all, but what I'm saying is when you look at this Rays team and realize that their top hitter is Brandon Lowe and the dude's batting a 271, you're telling me you think that is good enough, that once you get in the playoffs, that's good enough to make it to the World Series. You're telling me that's good enough?
Yes.
271.
Postseason baseball is all about pitching.
It is. But like I said before, the Rays right now, they don't have the starting pitching. They're going to have to rely on their bullpen. And I'll tell you what, that's why I believe it's going to catch up to them, because they don't have the starting pitching. And if you have to use that bullpen a lot, you remember a few years back with the Cubs, with Aroldis Chapman, when they kept rolling him out, and he got fatigued, and he started getting rocked in the playoffs because they were rolling him out game after game after game after game. If you don't have starting pitching to go at least eat up innings, your bullpen is going to get tired.
Yeah, but again, that opener goes out, they go out there and they give you 3 or 4 innings.
Sometimes, but you've seen them pull when it comes to the opener. You've seen them pull them after 1 or 2 innings.
It's true, but I guess
so
that's why they play the game.
Hey, and there's no denying that. I totally agree with you. But I just don't think that this Rays team has enough. Just my personal opinion, I don't think they have enough. You do. You have them winning it all, correct? Or do you have them
I
just
said
just
no,
making it there?
no. I said they can win it all. But
Yeah, but do you have them going there? Do you have them making it?
yes,
Yes, you have them making it. Okay. So now, when we look at the number 2 seed in the American League, we have the Chicago White Sox. Yet again, we come to a team that is basically built off power. You
I'm gonna
have
stop
two.
you right there for just a second.
Yeah.
Actually, tonight Minnesota took over that spot.
Okay. Well, so the game must have ended just a little bit ago then.
It did.
Okay. So Minnesota now has the 2 seed?
Yes, by half a game.
Okay, by a half a game. But still, okay. So I'll base this off the three best teams that I believe right now, since the Twins just leapfrogged the White Sox since that game went final. But when you look at this White Sox team, the one thing again with the White Sox is starting pitching. They have Lucas Giolito, which is their ace, and then they have Dallas Keuchel. And Dallas Keuchel right now has an ERA of 2.09, and he's got like 6 wins and 2 losses. So he's pitching really good. Giolito is the first pitcher this year that actually pitched a no-hitter. So we know that guy has potential. The one thing that the White Sox don't have right now, they don't have a strong bullpen. They were hot, and now they're on the downhill trend. And I'm not talking about just the bullpen. I'm talking about this whole team in general. They're on a downhill trend.
They've lost 4 in a row.
Yeah. And the one thing that they do have, they have a Tim Anderson and a Jose Abreu. That when we talked, it was, I believe it was last week, we talked about some candidates for MVP. Both of these guys' names were brought up. Both of them were. That's what's really helped this team succeed and go as far as they have. You have a Tim Anderson that's batting a 353. You have a Jose Abreu that's not only batting a 332, but he's also hit 19 home runs. He's got like 52 ribbies. So the guy's been an all around stellar player. So we just found out that the Twins have now leapfrogged the White Sox to go into that 2 seed, which would then drop the White Sox down to the 4 seed, because that's how that switch would work. The White Sox would still be outside of the division race, but they're still in that wild card. So
Right.
even though we've been talking about the White Sox, do you foresee the White Sox being able to get past the first round?
The White Sox, no.
Just
I
based
don't.
just based upon what? Are you basing it upon pitching or what?
Well, I can base it on the fact that they've lost 4 in a row for one, at the worst time of the year to lose 4 in a row, and that they are only 17-10 at home, where Minnesota is 23-5.
Now keep
The
in
best
mind
in
though,
baseball.
but keep in mind in the playoffs, they're not going to be playing at home. They're going to be playing at sites that MLB has set up. They have created their own bubbles. So
Right.
now they're going to be playing at alternative sites. And so home field advantage is now out the window. It's gone. But I want to say that I think the White Sox could make it, but just based off their starting rotation and bullpen, I don't think they have enough. They do have enough hitting. They have the hitting to get there, but they don't have the pitching to get there.
Yeah. Well, I think the worst part is that even if you take the home field advantage out of it, the White Sox have lost 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota and Cleveland have both won 4 in a row. And momentum is a lot going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a lot of times what you see is like when you look at last year, The Nationals at the All-Star break, when everybody was like, oh, this Nationals team is done, they came out after the All-Star break. They started putting some wins together, and then all of a sudden, they snuck in the playoffs. And once they got in the playoffs, like, they got hot at that right time. Once that Nationals team got hot, boom, they were gone. And the big thing about it, their bullpen last year wasn't that great, but they were able to win it without their bullpen, basically because of their starting pitching. But they caught fire at the right time. And so this Minnesota Twins team and Cleveland Indians team, yeah, they might be starting to catch fire right at that right time. All right, so the number 3, we had the Athletics. And you said this was your other pick to go up against the Rays in the American League Championship Series. That was your other pick.
Yes.
When we look at this A's team, they're not a power team. This is more of a small ball, base hit, drive-in runs. They're one of their power guys, because technically they have 3 when you think about it. They have Chris Davis, they have Matt Olson, and Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman is out for the season because of a torn labrum. So that's going to hurt them really bad. Their starting pitching is average. They're not elite, but they're average. They're good enough to be able to probably get the job done in maybe one series. But I think if they go up against a team like the Yankees, they're going to struggle, and that's because the Yankees are now getting healthy and they're getting everybody back. So now they're going to have a Judge back, a LeMahieu. They have Sanchez and Torres, like they have it, and Stanton. They have a deep lineup, so they're virtually getting everybody back.
I mean, that's true, but the A's are 13-7 against a team with a winning record, 9-14.
Did you say the Yankees are 9-14?
Yes.
Yeah, now keep in mind though, that's bringing my point back up. You got to remember, for that longest time with the Yankees, they had a lot of guys out. Judge was hurt, Stanton was hurt, LeMahieu was hurt. They were hurting. And then this year, they went out and they signed a Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's their ace, but the one thing that Garrett Cole has struggled with this year, he's been home run happy. Like, I don't know why, but this year he's been allowing a lot of home runs. And it all started when the Yankees came and played Atlanta, and Atlanta hit four bombs off of Garrett Cole. Then all of a sudden it started, and he went on this trend of giving up a lot of home runs. I don't know what happened, but something happened with that. So with this Athletics team, you obviously see them making the American League Championship Series, but you don't see them going past that. Is this a team that if they were able to get past that, could they win it all? Do they have enough?
I think it would depend on who they played in the National League.
And that's where we're jumping to next, because
if they play a team, and this is not being a homer, saying this, if they played a team like Atlanta, who has a firepower lineup, anyone in that lineup can hit a home run on any pitch. The A's can't get past that. It's the same with the Dodgers. It's the same with the Padres.
Yeah, and so that's why when we jump to the National League now, the 3 teams that we're going to talk about now in the National League are the Dodgers, the Braves, and then we will also talk about the Cubs. So when you look at this Dodgers team, we know that this Dodgers team is loaded. They're loaded from top to bottom. They go out, they trade for a Mookie Betts, which why the Red Sox traded him is freaking beyond me. I don't know. The Dodgers already had all-stars on their team up and down. Now you're giving them one of the best players in baseball. So thanks for making them better. Then their pitching rotation, they have a good rotation. The only one thing that I would say that this team might lack that I could potentially see giving them troubles is we all talk about how Clayton Kershaw is a good pitcher in the regular season. But what happens when he gets to the postseason? He's not that dominant guy anymore.
No. He's the Peyton Manning of baseball.
He chokes hard in the playoffs. He has a horrible ERA. I don't know. Just he's not the same pitcher.
Yeah. Here's an interesting stat about the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Away from home, they are 22-8. So they might have the advantage if you go to a bubble setting.
Yeah, which they said that the games today for the American League, one of the sites that they're going to be playing in is Minute Maid Park, which is the Astros, and then the other one is Globe Life. So those are the two stadiums that the National League teams will be playing in.
Yeah.
But we already know that this Dodgers team has the potential to make the World Series again.
Mm-hmm.
Again. But
they have a run differential of 124.
that's
They've
insane.
scored. They've scored 319 runs. They've only given up 195.
Yeah, that shows you how good their pitching is.
Yes.
Their pitching is stellar. Their offense is stellar. We said it actually probably about a month ago. We said we don't see virtually any team being able to beat this Dodgers team.
Oh.
The one thing that I will say, and now we can go into number 2, which the number 2 team that I had on the radar was the Atlanta Braves. Because if they basically win their remaining games, they lock up number 2.
Well, they're 2 full games ahead of the Cubs.
Yes, so that's why I said if they win their remaining games.
Let's see, each team has 4 games left. So really, if Atlanta wins 2, the Cubs can't catch them.
Yeah, they should pretty much have it. When you look at this Braves team, though, this is a one team that actually leads the league in runs per game. They average, it's like 5.5 runs a game. This lineup is stacked from top to bottom, just like the Dodgers. The only difference is the Dodgers have the pitching. The Braves have the bullpen. The Dodgers have the starting pitching.
Yeah.
We have the third best bullpen in all of baseball. So how well?
Atlanta scored 335 runs.
Mm-hmm.
The most in baseball.
Yeah. The lineup is loaded from top to bottom. So without us... Huh?
They do have the third best run differential in baseball.
So when you look at the starting rotation, I was listening to Jeff Francoeur talk about it the other day. He mentioned that this is a team that you could potentially see go to the World Series just based upon how many runs they can score. Is there another team that can match them run for run? And if there is, it probably is the Dodgers. It could be the Dodgers. It could be the Padres. There are some teams out there that could potentially match them run for run.
Those would be the two. The only American League team I think is the Yankees.
Yeah. Other than that,
those are the 3 teams that have scored 300 runs this year.
Possibly the White Sox could, because they have a power hitting lineup also, so they might be able to also. The one knock on the Atlanta Braves, it's like we've talked about, they're starting pitching. Right now, there's basically two. There's Max Fried, which left the game tonight in the first inning, because he tweaked his ankle, but that doesn't mean he's gonna miss any time. We don't know yet. Hopefully he doesn't.
And so 4 games left. Just give him the rest of the year off.
Yeah, pretty much.
For a regular season. He won't need to pitch for over a week.
Because at this point, you're not playing for nothing.
Right.
Division is wrapped up. You're not playing for anything. So, can this Braves team compete with the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Run-wise, they can. Pitching, I don't think they can.
They got to get past the Cardinals first.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to go back into that Cardinals thing because for some reason, whenever they play the Cardinals have their number.
Well, I can say even though the Atlanta clinched the division for the 3rd straight year, they have not won a playoff series
Since 2001.
Yeah.
If the season were to end today, though, the Braves would actually match up against the Reds. So they would be able to miss the Cardinals in the first round. Just say. That's the good news. So the number 3 team.
I have to say the Reds scare me.
They have a wicked starting rotation.
And they're 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Because Mike Moustakas is getting hot. Joey Votto is getting hot. And those are guys that you have to look at. Like, you got to be careful with those guys because if those guys get hot, you're in trouble. So the 3rd team that we are going to talk about was the Cubs, which the Cubs and Braves are going back and forth from who's getting 2, who's getting 3. This Cubs team can also be a scary team too. They have decent starting pitching. They have Darvish, who's pitching good. They have a Jose Quintana. He's pitching good. Their rotation is no joke. Their lineup is good. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez. The only knock with the Cubs, and it seems like it usually goes back to it's like a revolving door with most of these teams. Usually one of their weakest links is either starting pitching or bullpen. And with the Cubs, it's not their starting pitching, it's their bullpen. Other than that, they have a good lineup. Their starting rotation is good enough that they could win it. I just don't know if their bullpen is. Can they score enough runs against the other elite teams like the Dodgers and the Braves? I don't know if they can. Or even if they were to have to play the Padres, I don't know if they could put up enough run against the Padres. So if you had to pick the National Championship League Series right now, who do you have in it?
Atlanta and the Dodgers.
And who do you have winning it?
The Dodgers.
Okay, so you have the Dodgers against the Rays in the World Series. Who is your pick?
Dodgers.
So this is the year that the Dodgers finally get over the hump and win it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I already said the Dodgers a while ago. I just don't think anybody has enough in the National League to beat them. So obviously the Dodgers in the National League, and then the American League. I said it. I'm throwing it out there. I don't care. It's a bold prediction, but I'm saying the Oakland A's are making that leap, and they're going to make it there. All right. So the last thing I wanted to mention in MLB was that because they're creating this bubble. Do you think that this is a good idea? Because when you look at the NFL, and I'm not only talking about just because it's a bubble to keep them safe from Corona. When you look at the NFL, they have an alternative site that they already choose every year to play the Super Bowl in. Major League Baseball has not been on board for it. They haven't wanted to do it. Do you think it'd be a good idea for MLB to come out and be like, well, maybe every year, maybe we should pick a alternative site and play the World Series there every year?
Yeah.
What would you think of that idea?
Oh, I think it's a good idea.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I'm really torn on whether I think it'd be good or whether it'd be bad. I don't know. The only reason I'm saying that is because if you make it there, I feel like you've kind of earned the right to have some home games, either on the National League side or the American League side. But yet again, it doesn't give anybody a distinctive advantage then.
Yeah.
Because you're playing on the road no matter what now. Unless you're that team that makes it to the World Series playing at their own home. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right.
Right.
So now moving on from MLB, we can jump into that Thursday night game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. We can jump into that Minshew Mania, and you have Minshew Mania versus Fitzmagic. You have the beard, the beard versus the hair. Pretty
Mustache.
much. Oh yes, the mustache. The beard versus the mustache. So
Beard's cooler.
Dolphins played well last week. Fitzpatrick, he played a lot better than he did in week 1. Jaguars have been kind of a surprising team this year that they've actually played pretty well. They came out and played really well against a Titans team that I will tell you now, I thought that the Titans were going to come out and steamroll Jacksonville. I really thought that they were. Jacksonville put up a fight. So with looking at this Jacksonville and Miami team, how do you see this game going tomorrow?
I think Jacksonville is more talented than Miami. Jacksonville could be 2-0. They really could.
They might be more talented on the offensive side, but I think Miami's just a little bit better on the defensive side. But that doesn't say much because Miami's not very good on defense, but Jacksonville's also not very good on defense either. I just think that Miami might just be a little bit better. I think that this is one of those games that are going to be... This is going to go one of two ways. This is going to either be an extremely low-scoring game, or it's going to be an extremely high-scoring game.
Right.
Is anybody going to be able to stop either team?
Well,
I don't know.
I think the key for Miami is Devontae Parker. And if he doesn't play, then Jacksonville is going to win because they have better receivers.
The key for me, and I don't want to say that Devontae Parker's a bad receiver because I don't think he's bad. He's definitely their number one without a doubt. I truly believe he is. And I'm actually surprised he's still in Miami. To be honest, I thought that they were going to trade. I thought that they were going to trade him a while ago. But to me, the factor in this game is going to actually be Jordan Howard. And the only reason I'm saying Jordan Howard is because, come on, the Dolphins go out and get Jordan Howard. And the guy has had multiple seasons of more than 1,000 yards. And they hand him the ball like 4 times? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You hand a running back who's had a couple 1,000-yard seasons, and you're going to hand him the ball 4 freaking times in a game?
And not throw to him either.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown, but guess what? They had the ball at the 1. At the 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've been actually using Gaskin a lot more. So I don't know why they're not using Howard. They should be using Howard. He's a good back.
Yeah.
He is a good back. But this game, I have to go with Jacksonville. They're young. They're hungry. I'm not going to say Minshew Mania. I'm not saying it. I'm not going to say it because we already know somebody who said that Minshew's the next GOAT, and I'm not going that far yet.
Jesus.
It hasn't even been relatively even close to calling him the next GOAT. This is his second year in the league. Come on.
He hasn't even started 16 game yet.
I think.
He's close.
Yeah, he's close. He's close, but he's not quite there. So yes, Jacksonville in this game. Jacksonville's gonna win. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it'll be like a 3-point game. They do have, and for those of you who don't know, you should get to know a Keelan Cole and a DJ Chark. If you do not know who they are, you need to know who they are. These guys are studs. They are good receivers. They're not jokes.
They're for real.
They are. They're for real.
For real.
They're for real. And so when people are saying that Minshew doesn't have anybody to throw to, he does. He has a Keelan Cole. He has a DJ Chark. You guys should already know who these guys are.
Yep.
Just saying. Just ranting. So Jacksonville by 3, and what do you think? What do you think the final score is going to be?
34-30 Jacksonville.
Nice. 34-30. So you have it a high scoring game also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it 33-30 Jacksonville. And Minshew Mania leads Jacksonville down in a 2-minute drive, and they win it.
I'll tell you what.
That's my prediction.
Minshew Mania will be legit if they make the playoffs this year.
Do you really foresee it, though? Do you really foresee it?
As bad as the AFC is?
Yes. Huh?
As bad as the AFC has been? Yes.
And the AFC South, they're not really that good of a division, to be honest.
That's my point.
They're really not.
Neither's the AFC East, minus the Bills. AFC North, you got Baltimore and Pittsburgh. There's 2 teams. Bills are 3. In the West, you have the Raiders and the Chiefs.
So you don't want to throw the Chargers in there yet, as well as they played last week against the Chiefs.
No. Here's the reason why. The Chiefs came into that game
looking ahead to the Ravens.
Well, and they came into that game with a game plan to stop Tyrod Taylor. They weren't planning on playing Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And that's why they played so well.
And that's why it kind of surprises me when you see a backup come in, and some backups come in and play well. Then you have a lot of fans who go, oh, this quarterback should be playing well. Not necessarily, because the team they played for didn't game plan for him. They game planned for the starting quarterback. So now, if you're facing a pocket passer,
Justin Herbert,
and your backup quarterback is a scrambler, and the pocket passer gets hurt, you have been focusing all week and watching film on the pocket passer. So you're trying to find out ways to stop the passing game. Now he gets hurt, and now you have a scrambler who comes in the game. You haven't studied film, so now you're like, crap, I have to change things up, and I got to figure out how am I going to slow this guy down. I don't know anything about him. I've been watching film on the guy.
Yep.
All right, so how about we jump into NHL? That Dallas Stars versus Tampa Bay Lightning game. Yes, I know. Tampa Bay Lightning are now up 2-1 with a 5-2 victory. Who saw somebody putting up 5 goals in a game?
I didn't.
No. And the only reason, and now guys, let's get this straight. We're not saying that because you don't see it a lot, which you do. In regular season, you'll see a lot of teams put up 5 or more goals. I get it. This is the Stanley Cup. This is the Stanley Cup Finals. These are two teams with two of the best goalies in hockey. And we already covered this and said we thought these were going to be very low-scoring games, and they were going to have to take opportunistic goals when they could get them. So 5 goals in a game, that shocked me.
I think they had 4 in about 22 minutes.
They did. The Stars actually replaced their goalie because he allowed 5 goals and 29 shots, and they replaced him with a rookie. So, oh man, I'm not going back for my original pick. I still think it's going to go 7. I still think it's going to be Stars in 7.
And I got Lightning in 7.
Yeah, you said it was going to be 7 too.
I did.
After what I saw today, I don't want to go back and change my mind and say, hey, the Lightning are going to win it now. I'm not doing that. I knew how good this Lightning team was, but I might have underestimated them in a little bit. I thought that this Dallas Stars team was a little bit better, but now I'm realizing that this Lightning team is for real. Like they are no joke. And the one thing that was funny about today, did you see that Steven Stamkos made his return for the Lightning? And for those of you who don't know who Steven Stamkos is, he's the captain on the Lightning. And the one thing that I found interesting is he hasn't played since like February. He comes back in. He takes one shot. He makes a goal. He's the first shot back, and he makes a goal. And then after the first period is over, he leaves hurt again. So maybe he just wasn't completely healthy. I don't know, but I just thought it was crazy. After all that time, he comes back in, takes his first shot, and he makes a goal.
What kind of player he is?
Huh?
What kind of player he is?
Oh yeah, but do you foresee him being able to return in Game 4? Because he left, he was pretty ginger when he left. Like he seemed like he was hurting.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be back in Game 4. Game 5 for sure.
Stamkos, without Stamkos, they can obviously win because they did it. They did it today. So, and they did it in Game 2 also. So they can obviously win without him, but I don't think they can win 4 games against the Stars without him.
Yeah, no, I think they can. Of course, I'm going to say that.
Well, yeah, because you have the Lightning in 7.
Switching from Stanley Cup for a minute,
Yeah.
I have to say that I enjoy the NHL because it's the one sport that doesn't base an MVP off of the most popular team with the best record.
Thank you.
And I'm probably going to say his name wrong, but Draisaitl for the Oilers.
Oh yes.
Won the MVP.
That's a great pick. That's an excellent pick.
I agree.
And it's not.
McKinnon came in second.
I kind of saw that. I really thought. I thought because I said it. It was either last week or the week before. I said McKinnon was the favorite to win it. I really thought McKinnon was going to win it. I really thought he did. But you know what? I'm okay with it. I really am okay with it because Draisaitl actually played maybe
he meant more to his
better.
team.
Yeah, which that's what MVP is. That's what MVP is supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean Who means more to their team out of anybody else in the league?
Right.
That's the problem with MVP. Now you have me going on a rant. You have me going on a freaking rant now with MVPs. So the one thing that I have a problem with MVPs, and I'm sorry guys, if you want to hear about NHL, I'll get back to it in a minute. But J-Mac has me going on a rant now with MVPs, because the one thing that really drives me nuts more than anything is you can look at the NFL, especially the NFL, and realize when you look at MVP, a majority of the time it's quarterbacks. Almost every year it's a quarterback, because like the quarterback means more to the team than anything. And I want to say that is complete and utterly false. Now, I'm not saying that there are some quarterbacks that don't mean everything to their team, because if you look at Seattle, yeah, obviously that team goes as Russell Wilson goes. Obviously. MVP without a doubt. And that actually makes me angry that Russell Wilson has never gotten an MVP vote in his career. That's blasphemous. That's disgusting. I don't know what the heck happened. Like,
second that motion.
That is disgusting. That's foul. That never should have happened. Number 2,
the NBA is worse.
Yes, it's a joke. It is a flat out joke. They need to change how they do MVP voting. It is joke.
Because you mean to tell me in the NBA that LeBron or Giannis deserved that this year when they were favorites? Yet the Thunder, who had a 0.4% chance of even making the playoffs, makes a 5 seed because of a guy named Chris Paul.
See, I will say if Chris Paul didn't win it, it'd be okay. I'm lost on my words on that, because I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I understand that Giannis won it. I understand where you're coming with Chris Paul. Chris Paul should have at least been in the discussion. His name should have been brought up, and they should have said, well, look what he's done with the Thunder. So, yes, because of that, he should at least be in the discussion, or at least gotten a couple votes, at least. But, yeah, it's a joke. It really is a joke.
To me this year, you're 3 guys in the NBA that meant more to the teams than anyone else. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard.
What about Jamal Murray?
But he didn't play that good in the regular season. So
not
that's
the whole year, but
that's my only knock. He's not the reason they made the playoffs.
I would agree with you on. I would agree with you on the Devin Booker one. I would agree with you on that. Because Devin Booker led the Suns team to 8 consecutive wins when they entered the bubble, and at least gave them a chance to be in the playoffs. So yeah, I agree with you on that. A Chris Paul, absolutely. Giannis, back-to-back years. I mean, what it is, it's pretty much a popularity contest. That's pretty much, if you have a big name, you have a chance at winning it.
Yep. Going back to hockey, though.
Yes. Going back to hockey.
Alex Ovechkin finished 13th in the MVP race.
13th?
Yeah. But this is the interesting thing. He has finished in the top 15 in the MVP race 14 times. That's more than Wayne Gretzky.
I put him, if you remember when I did my list of top hockey players, I put him in my top 5. And so I don't understand how you can put him in at number 13. There's not 13 players that are better than him in NHL.
No. I don't understand that either, but I found it interesting that he's finished that high more times than Wayne Gretzky.
And we all know that Wayne Gretzky in hockey's the GOAT.
He's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. It's hard. I don't know. They just the MVP stuff. It needs a change, man. It needs some kind of change. It needs a reform. I hate to use that word, but it needs a reform. Something new needs to happen. Instead of having voters, instead of having like owners or certain athletes or whatever vote, what they should do is like how people vote for all-stars, except the problem with that is it also becomes a popularity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. They need to come up with something new, and I think they can. I just don't know what yet.
Right.
So with Dallas and Lightning, I'm ready for the next game. I have the Stars winning the next game, obviously. They're going to tie it up at 2. And then they're going to win Game 5. They're going to make it 3-2. Then Lightning's going to win Game 6. And the Stars are going to win Game 7. No, the Stars are going to win Game 7. And it's going to be over then.
Gentleman's bet on this one.
Gentleman's bet. So,
what does the loser have to do? On the air.
Oh boy, this is a tough one. Ooh. Let me think about this one, and I'll get back to you on that. So
we'll discuss that on Friday.
Yep. So before we call it a night, there was only one more quick thing that I wanted to ask you, because I think it's going to be a heated topic coming up here pretty soon. But next year for 2021, when it comes to the NFL Hall of Fame, you know who's the candidate? And he goes by the name of Calvin Johnson. So because Calvin Johnson did not play that many seasons as a Lion, retired early, is Calvin Johnson a Hall of Famer? Will he be a first ballot, or is he a Hall of Famer at all?
He's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he gets in first ballot.
I'll agree with you on that. The guy's definitely a Hall of Famer. A first ballot, I don't know if he has a good enough numbers to be a first ballot. If he would have played a little bit longer, then yeah, no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't blame him for leaving. I really don't.
Sure. He played for the freaking Lion.
That's what happened to Barry Sanders. He retired early. Which I don't know if you ever watched the documentary on Barry Sanders when they were asking him and saying, "Did you retire because you were a Lion and the Lions would never let you go?" Well, obviously he's not going to come out and say, "Well, yeah, that's why I retired." But basically he came out and said, "I didn't want to play anymore because, well, I just didn't feel like being there." And so I'm like, that was kind of a way to get around being like, yeah, I don't want to play on this team anymore.
So here's the first year ballot nominees. Peyton Manning.
He'll be in.
Wes Welker.
Maybe
Roddy
not
White,
a first ballot.
Heath Miller.
Nope.
Steven Jackson.
Nope.
Deshaw Ferguson. Logan Mankins.
Who?
Logan Mankins.
Oh, probably not a first ballot. Nope.
Charles Tillman.
Potentially, yes. Potentially, he might be a first ballot.
Charles Woodson.
Definitely first ballot. Check it. He's Hall of Fame.
Jared Allen.
Not first ballot.
Justin Tuck.
Not
Kevin
first ballot.
Williams. And Jared Mayo. So I can tell you Who the 5 are that the experts have locked right now?
Peyton Manning. I can tell you now. If I had to take a guess, take a guess, I'll go ahead and take a guess. Peyton Manning,
Yep.
Charles Woodson,
Yep.
Calvin Johnson. I'm assuming
Yep.
they have him
Yep.
on that list too.
Mhm.
I want to say Tillman, but I'm not. Is Tillman on that list?
Tillman is on that list.
That's what I thought. Okay, because I was there too, and I was really thinking about it, and I was like, he probably will be a first ballot. So yes, I would go. So that would be my fourth, and then if I had to take a guess on what the fifth might be, my guess would be it would be come down between Jared Allen and Justin Tuck, and I would probably have to say that they would probably go with Jared Allen.
Nope.
Justin Tuck.
Nope.
Wow.
Steven Jackson.
First ballot?
First ballot. That's who the experts have. But I think your list. I think your list was more likely.
Yeah,
I would take Jared Allen over Steven Jackson.
Yeah, and now don't get me wrong. I don't want to take anything away from what Steven Jackson has done. I think the guy was a great running back, but he's not first ballot. Not first ballot. He is going to be Hall of Fame, just not a first ballot guy.
Yeah.
There are 5. At least I got 4 of them. I mean, I kind of knew where they were going with that on that, but the 5th one, wow, that's wow. Peyton Manning is no doubt. No doubt.
Duh.
Right. So that stat I threw out there the other day about Archie Manning, that actually surprised me. Because when you look at that, like, and for those of you who you guys won't know what stat I threw out there, but I said in Archie Manning's career, and this is why Archie Manning is kind of off the board a little bit, and everybody talks about Eli or Peyton. Because Archie Manning played for the Saints when they were the Aints, when they were not winning any game, when they were like abysmal, like going like 2-14 and 1-15, like they were that bad. But the dude was playing between 9 and 10 games a year because he was so hurt. And the dude in his 9 years career, Archie Manning, in his 9 years with the Saints, got sacked 337 times. So tell me, how can you expect a guy to put up numbers when you're constantly on your back in a game?
Right.
Just saying.
I'll say the other one that I threw out there was David Carr, who was sacked 76 times in 2002.
Yeah, that's a lot. But you got to keep in mind too that I do believe that was the expansion year.
It was.
And so I don't want to fully say that was completely on coaching staff because they had to go with what they had.
But the next 3.5 years was.
Well, yeah, you have to improve somehow.
4.5 years. He got sacked 262 times.
Yeah.
And they call him a bust. How do you even have a chance?
You don't have a chance. When you're constantly on your back, you have no shot. No shot whatsoever. Right. No shot.
Yup.
All right, well, I got nothing else. Do you have anything else?
Nope. I think we're good.
All right, well, everybody knows that they will see us again on Friday night. We'll have some more great stuff to talk about. I'm sure we'll be talking about some more basketball. We'll definitely be talking about that NHL again. We'll even have a better, clearer picture on MLB because by then pretty much a lot of teams will be wrapped up and we'll know probably pretty much every team that's going to be in by that point. So stay tuned for Friday. Come back and listen. You guys will really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Night.